Um, this cut day is just about less than 24 hours away now as NFL teams cut their rosters to 53 players. We talked a lot about the San Francisco 49ers to start this show. We talked a lot about the San Francisco 49ers with Kyle and James of the Insiders during the handoff. But what about the Las Vegas Raiders? The Raiders are intriguing for different reasons. Obviously, you got, Brock Bowers out there. Geno Smith is taking over as your quarterback. Pete Carroll is taking over as your coach. With 4 weeks left in the season, this is not what we expected. We thought the Raiders, I think there was, at least for the briefest of moments, the Raiders had the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Didn't last long. They went on to win a couple of games and fell. I think they wound up getting Ashton Jeanty. I think it was 6th. Mm-hmm. And obviously that's Ashton. He's not a quarterback. I think he's a potential game-changing player, but he's not a quarterback.
Yeah.
And so there's pieces there, but when you try to put the puzzle together, I'm not exactly sure what the picture is it's forming.
So I really do look at this upcoming season for the Raiders is a culture, identity establishing season for that franchise. They want to kind of change the perception that goes through that building, that national media and players around the league have of what goes on in that building.
Yeah.
And I think that is first and foremost what they're going to be looking at this season. They want to win games, obviously. They want to be competitive. So they want to change the whole identity of what it means to be a Las Vegas Raider right now.
So you say this an hour after Jacoby Myers wants a trade.
Yeah.
It tells the team he wants a trade. But and more importantly, can you do what you just laid out? Can you establish what you just laid out if you're losing? Can you establish a culture shift and change if you lose football games?
I think you can. If it feels like when Kyle Shanahan first got to San Francisco, he was changing some things up. He was changing the culture, and I think they started out 0-9.
You said that was Chip? He replaced Chip?
Yeah. And he was kind of just changing the way they went about some things. And like I said, they weren't winning games for damn near the first half of the season. Only those players know, only the people around the league who maybe they looked at the Niners as the same type of team because they weren't winning. But it felt like they were going about things a different way. They were establishing something when Kyle first got there. So I think you can. Obviously, you'd like to win some games along the way because you don't want the things that you're saying as a coach to become hollow. Because, hey, do it this way and it's going to lead to winning, and you just don't win or anything like that. But I think you can. We talked about this, Doc, a lot. That seemed to happen with the Cowboys. When Jimmy got there and they started to change some things in their identity, they had to build on that, but they weren't winning any games.
Yeah.
But you can only do that for so long.
But they had young talent.
True.
And that's kind of the thing with that's the thing with, I mean, and this isn't new. This dates back to the Pete Carroll hiring. I'm a fan of Pete Carroll. I think he's a terrific coach. From a Raider standpoint, I didn't quite understand the hire because no matter how he acts, no matter how good he looks, Pete's still 73 years old. So I don't feel like, and maybe there's no such thing. Maybe there's no such thing in the NFL. Maybe there's no such thing in professional sports anymore as a long-term coaching solution. But this thing with Pete felt very short-term to me. And I love Geno's story. I love Geno's redemption story. I love that the opportunity that he's had under center. I love that he's made the most of it. Again, given the position you were in with a handful of weeks left in the season to where you wound up finishing the season, it's now okay. I don't know that Geno's a long-term quarterback solution either. And so it just kind of feels like you've got, I don't know if it's duct tape. I don't know what you have here, but to me, it's a very, very good coach. It's a solid quarterback. I think you have a force in your tight end.
Mm-hmm.
You did the unconventional and you took a running back really, really high in the draft. And it feels like there's little pieces just collectively. I don't know what it turns out to be for this team. And you're also in a division that's pretty tough.
Right.
You're in a division with Kansas City. You're in a division with, Denver, who is everyone's, preseason darling. And then you've got, your boys. You've got that group in Los Angeles.
Yeah. And those aren't my boys. I just like the coach. Just like the coach.
Mm.
That is my boy.
You like the coach a lot.
That is my boy.
Yeah, you're a Chargers
my favorite
fan.
coaches of all time.
We're gonna call you
one to hang out with.
We're gonna call you a Chargers supporter.
Say pick one: Kyle Shanahan and Harbaugh.
I like Kyle.
Coach Kenny Carraway's football team. Who are you taking?
Kyle Shanahan. We did this question last week though. Like if I'm trying to build a franchise, like I'm taking it from scratch, I'm picking Kyle Shanahan. Mm-hmm. If I got a team that I think is like a coach away from getting, Jim Harbaugh will get you there faster. But those are both my boys.
But why is that? Why do you think that?
Because he's proven it.
Where? Michigan?
The 49ers, Michigan.
Well, wait, what did he do with San Francisco?
He went to 3 NFC championship games.
Well, what'd Kyle do?
He went to a Super Bowl and 3 NFC championship games, but it took him, he had to build it up. Now, I don't know because I've never seen him in this situation. Maybe Kyle could do the same thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe if you give him a ready-made team, he can take that team where they need to go immediately as well. I just know I've seen Kyle build a franchise. I think that's his strong suit, or at least more so than Jim Harbaugh. I don't believe, even though Jim Harbaugh built Stanford up, like he built that up, he built San Diego State up, regular University of San Diego.
Were you going to call him regular San Diego? Because that's amazing. Not San Diego State, regular San Diego.
He built those programs up, but that's college. That's not the pros.
Mm-hmm. And Michigan took a while for calling it what it is. Like he was extremely successful, like almost jarringly successful
right out the gate.
His first year. And then it tailed off a little bit.
Yeah.
And then
able to do what he had to do.
Unsavory acts of
He did what he had to do. I'm sorry he didn't have tattoos that he could sell.
He's essentially been banned from college sports.
Well, no, it's only been 10 years.
Okay, 10 years. How old will Jim Harbaugh be in 10 years? Let's see. Jim Harbaugh. What is that? I don't want that. No, go ahead. I'm just gonna Jim Harbaugh. 60. Okay, you're right. He can return when he's 71 years old.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Do like QB Brown. Dude in Penn State did it. He can do it.
Do like QB Brown.
Okay.
Keep coaching.
Yeah.
But I think, and it's interesting that earlier you brought up the Kings as well, because much like I say about the Kings, I feel the same way about the Raiders here, where you've got some holes in the roster and what you're trying to do. I don't think it necessarily all has to be fixed in one offseason or can be fixed in one offseason. There could be, maybe you looked at it and you said, let's establish the trenches first. Yeah, we don't have the quarterback here. Geno isn't the long-term solution, but he's good enough. He's better than AOC. And
who's out for like 8 weeks now, by the way.
Yeah. And let's establish the trenches. Defensive line, offensive line. Let's establish that. Let's put a lot of resources as far as draft picks, maybe some free agency stuff, or maybe just the coaching staff. Like, let's emphasize that. Yeah, we need some receivers. Yeah, but in my plan, if I'm Pete Carroll, my plan, That's at the end of how I build out a team. I build it from the inside out. And it may take 2 off seasons to get everybody in here that I need to, but I understand it might take some time to get this roster completely where you want to be. And maybe you didn't want, I'm just hypothesizing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you didn't want to put a young quarterback out there, a young potential franchise quarterback out there when you're trying to establish yourself in the trenches. Maybe you want to establish that first and then go get your quarterback a year later.
But where do you get the quarterback a year later so is the expectation to win games?
Yeah, they're going to try and win.
So where do you get the quarterback from?
You can get it in the draft next year. It doesn't have to be a top pick.
Okay.
Pete Carroll won Super Bowls with their round pick.
Yeah. They could also be looking at it like that. Like
after they had signed a high-price free agent.
Shout out Matt Flynn, wherever you are.
Flynn.
No one knows.
Yeah, on a beach
No one
somewhere,
knows.
Rich.
If we're talking,
Did they stretch provision his contract? That man didn't play it down.
I think we're talking like Raiders and Kings. The Raiders got a better future right now. I'd buy theirs compared to the Kings just because they got the building blocks right now. Like the quarterback isn't there
In terms of Brock, you
got Max Crosby still there. Ashton
yeah.
Jeanty could be a superstar. Like there's building blocks there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The quarterback, like we talked about, like we got Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. I think you can find something like that. Not necessarily Russell Wilson, but a quarterback. And then Pete Carroll is one of the best coaches of all time.
So they got the best in this comparison. They have the best young players in the conversation, but the Kings have the better older players.
Current players. They're older too, but I think when we say that as if like Domas and Levine.
Yeah. Give me a better word. Current's not the right word. Established. They have the better established group.
And
like
Domas. You were saying it, but I think when people think about those, they're like, oh,
no, you're
Domas
right. No, you're right.
Hella old.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
They're
No.
not that old.
You're 100% right. Domas, Zach, DeMar. DeMar is old. DeMar. When you're within eye shot of us, you're old.
Ashton some this season. Their young players might be just as good as the Kings' current ones, though. Brock Bowers better.
Maybe.
Best at his position.
I think the Raiders got better young players than the Kings.
No,
that's what he's saying. He's talking about players, period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brock might be the best player of both franchises.
Brock not better than Sabonis.
I don't know.
And you know I've been critical of Sabonis.
Oh, yeah, you hate him. That's what the chat says. You hate his guy.
Hey, hold on. I have a question. You more confident in Brock getting you a touchdown or Sabonis getting you 20?
Well, that's unfair because that's unfair. Why don't you ask me about rebound?
Hey, Brock can block, I think. Brock's fine or whatever.
Why don't you ask me about double-double? Am I more confident in Brock scoring a touchdown or Sabonis getting a double-double?
Hey,
Sabonis.
Right.
Brock? Who are you more confident in at the end of a game?
Yeah. Answer that one, Kenny.
Wait, hold on. This is okay. Is Domas the best player on the Kings?
Yeah. I'm gonna give him that time.
Yeah.
I'll give him that time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm and that's part of the reason why I'm so
were
critical.
Were you in the Sac State suite with Domantas Sabonis? What happened?
No, but this is the misconception of my thoughts on Domas. I'm critical of him. I expect a lot of him because yes, you are supposed to be the number one guy. If you're gonna be the number one guy, what you're doing isn't enough. Like you've got to be better. And I think that you are talented enough to produce more than what you do. It doesn't have to be grand, like because he's already putting up like 19 and 13. Like I'm not asking you to go 25 and 18 on a night, but push that up to 22. Your rebounds can stay about the same. Be a better leader. Be a guy that uplifts everyone around you. Like that, yeah, you're supposed to be that guy. James Ham, you're going to be here at 3 o'clock. You're going to tell us Domas is the best player on the team if we ask him this question. All right, if you're the best player on the team, this team is a 500. I need to step it up. Step it up. So that's the thought with Domas. But Domas is a hell of a basketball player. He's a 2-time All-NBA guy.
Mm-hmm.
2-time All-NBA guy. A walking double-double. He's one of the best players at his position.
Also, DeMar's 37, so I can't say he's better right now. But at one point, maybe it would have been DeMar.
Is So this
Also,
is, I
Brock
think,
Bowers almost 1,200 yards receiving last year.
this is a good question. I think I know where you're going to go to. Is Brock Bowers at his position better than where Domas is at his position?
Yeah,
Brock
is a top 3.
Brock is one of the
right now, I think.
top 3.
He's not top 3. I'm not going to put him over.
You're obviously putting Kittle and
five.
Kelsey.
It's top 5.
Kittle can be in there. Kelsey,
and I'm putting my man in Detroit over him.
Laporta. I'll take Brock Bowers over Laporta.
That's
but
fine. That's
I'll
fine.
take.
Well, we're also talking
Kelsey's
about
playing off reputation a little bit right now. He's got to step
Brock
up his
just
numbers.
finished his
third year,
first season.
second year. Excuse me.
No, he just finished his
He's a
rookie year, didn't he?
Man, he's crazy. That man's crazy.
I'm crazy or Brock Bowers? Is
No,
crazy?
Brock Bowers.
Oh, okay.
No, he's Brock Bowers is.
He's the
Brock
truth.
even at Georgia was like, whoever drafts him is getting an NFL ready player.
He's the truth.
He's been the truth since Georgia.
But Domas is a top 3 player at his position too.
Is he?
Right?
Top what?
Top 3 player at his position, right?
I'm gonna be
Top
Yeah.
3 to 5. I mean, if he all NBA,
I mean,
I'm gonna
well,
put
they
well,
don't do it that way
well,
no more. But if
it's-
he's all NBA,
they don't. It's
okay.
Okay, so is he a center?
Yeah. Ooh.
is he a center?
yeah, I think he's always looked at as a
So
center.
it's Wemby, AD, and I mean Joe's not in this conversation anymore. Jokic, and then Domas. So that's not top 3.
I mean,
Beat Bam Adebayo.
he's at least.
I think he's better than Bam. I would put.
I think he's
I might
better than
put
Bam, too.
Cat over.
Bam's a way better defender.
I'm not putting.
You think Bam is better than Domas?
He's a way better defender.
Hell
He's
no.
a way better defender. Domas. I mean, they can both rebound. Bam's better at putting the ball in the hoop.
No, hell no. Bam's bag is equivalent to Domas's to a certain degree. Bam is not.
I'll take Bam. I'll stand on that one.
Yeah, Domas better than Bam. I think they're. I don't want to dismiss it like that. Like they're on the same tier. Shout out Kyle Madsen, but I think Domas is better than Bam.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. He's definitely a top 5 center. He's no worse than top 5. And we're completely removing Joel Embiid from this conversation anymore.
I'm
Like,
tired.
he just can't be in it. I don't think that's official.
On this show, it is.
Okay.
I'm retiring him right now.
Might be in his best interest to do that. So you don't see a parallel between Sacramento and Las Vegas?
No, I do.
Oh,
I do.
you do.
I agree with you at first because
Okay.
the things that the front office or the people who are trying to establish something for both franchises look at like, hey, we got to get better here. We need to add here. It might not all happen in one off season. And I think that's part of building something. That's part in certain cases, it's part of building something. It's part of, hey, we got some holes here. We need to rearrange some the way this roster is being built. We can't do it all in one off season. So we're gonna get started, offensive line or cap situation with the Kings or something like that. We're gonna get started and we're gonna work on that along the way. Point guard was the thing for the Kings. Like we need a point guard. And they said that from day one. And they went out and addressed that. They didn't address getting a true small forward or getting younger or something like that. They weren't able to necessarily do that. But maybe that's at the trade deadline. Maybe that's in the offseason, where they start chipping away at building this roster a little bit. And I think that's what the Raiders kind of did this offseason. I think Pete Carroll looks at the defense first and maybe even the trenches, in that respect, but definitely defense is where he wants to change how this team competes. And that was his priority this offseason, this first offseason.
Well, if that's the case, you might be surviving with Geno a lot longer than a year or two.
Maybe so. But
not a lot longer, but it'd be longer than a year.
Yeah.
Like you're probably talking 2 to 3 years here if that's truly your plan, which goes back to my original. Now Pete's 76. Does he even see the other side? I don't mean, does he? I mean, like, is he the coach when you kind of hit the other side of this and you've got, maybe we got a little defense here. We've got the offensive pieces coming together. Is there, if you're Spytek, John Spytek, do you have like an informal like succession plan already? Like, do you have a thought of, all right, we think Pete's going to get us to a certain place, 3 years or so, we'll offer Pete a front office position next to Brady, and we'll get our guy in here to keep this moving.
That's how I would have went about it if I hired Pete Carroll.
Pete's also got energy though.
He do.
Like he doesn't come off as like a 70. He doesn't come off
not
as
at
a
all.
Tom Landry 76
Not
year old,
at
I
all.
guess, or
He's-
whatever.
Tom Landry still catching strays.
That is pretty good. All right. We started today talking with the insiders about the Sacramento Kings and championship players, and kind of led to a pretty spirited discussion. It kind of centered on Keegan Murray. It really took off when Kyle asked the question, who on this Sacramento Kings team could be on a championship team? And I think you and I both misunderstood that question at first, because we're like, a lot of these guys could. Mm-hmm. Kyle meant because the conversation was about multiple ways to build a contender, and how you approach getting to a contending team isn't universal across the league. Everybody has had different approach, different strategies. I know people like to throw the word tanking around. I know there are some people who believe in their heart of hearts that Oklahoma City tanked. That is not at all what they did. But what they did do is they had brilliant asset management. Absolutely. And they did not deviate from the path that they were taking with that whatsoever, and it led them directly to a championship. The Celtics might have had, coming off of what the Celtics were, the 2008, that version of the Boston Celtics, when they finally, moved on in, what was it, 10 or 11, they had what it was essentially a 1-year rebuild. Like, they kind of shut everything down, and they shipped Paul Pierce and Ray Allen was gone, shipped Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett out of there. Got what they got back from Brooklyn. Brad Stevens comes in from college, this little boy wonder. And again, I think it was maybe 20-something win season to start, maybe a little bit more than that. And then the next year, all of a sudden, I think we've got a competitive basketball team. The year after that, it's all, I think we got a good basketball team. Didn't tank. Asset management. They had a team who was willing to very much overpay for some high-priced veterans. We say this all of the time with the pro-tanking crowd. Point to the time that it worked. And 5 years into this show, still waiting for that answer. And so the path to how to build a contender, it varies. And I think what we're all trying to figure out is what path can the Sacramento Kings take, and who on this roster can be a part of that ultimate moment. You named off a few more players than I did. You had refreshment. It was Domas. I think you had Zach LaVine in there.
Zach LaVine. I had Keon, and I said Keegan.
I had Domas. I felt really strongly in saying Keon. I didn't say LaVine, and then Keegan sparked the conversation where James was going through championship contenders, and can you put Keegan Murray on this team, and can you put Keegan Murray on this team? And it feels like we get stuck in this thing where, well, you got to have the right guys around him. And that's not a Keegan Murray thing. That's a Domantas Sabonis thing. Mm-hmm. That's a name 10 other guys type thing where, if you have the right players around him, every team, you've got to have the right players around your key guys. Right. What I have struggled to figure out is what in the pecking order, I guess, where Keegan Murray would be on a championship team. And when you bring up the Celtics and I think he brought up Indiana, that handful of others, it's like, he's like the fourth guy on most of those teams. Mm-hmm. Is everyone comfortable if this team continues to build? Like, are you willing to be patient enough for Keegan to be the fourth guy on a successful basketball team? Because he's not going to be the fourth guy next year. Well, actually, he will.
I think that was just
actually, he might be.
That's who he is right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He might be. Okay, so let me reword that, as I forgot DeMar and Zach LaVine are absolutely still here in the real world and not in our fictitious situation. But if Keegan remains the fourth guy, is everybody comfortable with that? Because it feels like people get really antsy when it comes to talking about Keegan Murray.
Yeah, really antsy. Yeah, I personally am 100% comfortable with that. I think the the way that you elevate is that 1, 2, and 3, or some combination of them have to be better for this team to reach a certain level. I don't necessarily, it would be great if it happened, but I don't necessarily need Keegan to reach another level. Keegan can be exactly who he is. Those around him, those top end players, that top end talent, that's where you're going to get the improvement. So I think that, yeah, Keegan can be the fourth best player on this team, and it'd be a successful team. It'd be a team that pushes towards a championship, a contending team. You need those other guys. You need either Sabonis, Levine, because I had those two in there as well, to step their game up, or you need 1 to 2 more players who are better than them on this roster at some point, somehow, some way. The reason why I throw Levine in there, I'm sorry to cut you off. The reason why I throw Levine in there is, once again, people speak about Levine like he's just not good. You get rid of Levine, you're going to need somebody that averages 23 to 25 points per game, along with what Domas brings to the table.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying you can't ever find that anywhere, but you actually have it in the building right now. He's not super young, but he's also not ancient. He's 30.
30.
Like, you have that in the building. Yeah, by the time you get to the end of that contract, hopefully you can rework some things and have a better contract that fits better for what you're trying to do. But the actual player is not the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
about
so.
The Sacramento Kings here. Why? Well, because that's what we do. We talk about the Sacramento Kings. Sure, football's 8 days away, man, but why not? And this is, I just blame the insiders, because that really kind of got it just is a natural conversation about this basketball team and how to build a contender, how to win, how to see the term that Scott Perry's been using. Long-term success. Sustainable success, I believe, is the term that he used. Doug Christie used a similar term. He actually used it on a couple of occasions. Talked about it last year as well. And Jesse asked the question this morning, which I thought was a good one, because I hadn't really thought about it like this. This season, given the split camps on how this all should have been approached, given the frustration with the contracts, the makeup of the roster, all these different things, can Doug Christie fail this year? Is there a scenario where we can step into this room and go, man, Doug failed this team?
I think it depends on your expectations of what you think of this team. And even then, because of the scenario the Kings are in, he may have a free year. If you are looking at it like I'm looking at it, I think how you're looking at it, a couple other people, that this team isn't going to be terrible. Like, this team is a team that's around 500, maybe a game or two above or below. And they come out and they win 31 games. To us, that looks like a failure. Like, there's more talent on this team, assuming everybody stayed, nobody got traded off or anything. There's more talent on this team than to win 31 games. That's unacceptable. That's how you would look at it if you think they're going to be a good team. But while saying that, there are people who don't think they're going to be a good team, who want them to be a bad team, who would not look at Doug Christie as failing if that's the case. They will look at the organization, the front office. It's their fault. They set him up for failure. He didn't fail. And that's not just because they love Doug Christie. It's because they don't look at this team as being good enough to compete. We do. So, and when I say compete, I mean play like something like that. Yeah. We do. So if you are on the under of what Vegas has for him at 35.5, yeah, Doug, I would say Doug didn't do a good job if that happened. That'd be part of the reason. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean it's everything, but that'd be part of the reason. Doug didn't do a good job if they're in the low 30s for wins this year.
I think the only way, like, I think for me, you can say he truly failed at the end of the season is if we go through another year and it's like, yeah, team wasn't necessarily connected and there was no real identity established this season. Like if we're dealing with just guys
But-
aren't together again or anything like that, like I figured like he's got to.
But
That's
could
his
we-
job this year is to start building the culture. Like I'm not gonna blame Doug if this team doesn't make playoffs because right now I got him at about 41-41 type of team. So if they're less, it's like that's the few games or whatever. And if it's more than perfect, he did his job. But I think you probably point to roster construction, the front office, and just things being kind of tough this offseason before you look at Doug and place the blame on him. Place the blame on him. So I think if it's culturally and there's issues there, and it's just like I said, it's another year where guys aren't on the same page, and I think that's where it's like maybe he failed.
I feel like that's one of the most difficult roads that Doug has to navigate, though, is the one that Jesse just laid out. The establishing culture part, like part of it is like DeMar is a 16, 17-year vet. Like I'd expect him to be a part of that too. And if there was if you said a single player derailed the possibility of establishing culture on the Sacramento Kings, the only one who I think is strong enough to do it is DeMar. Because DeMar is universally respected. Now, to be clear, I don't think that's a scenario that could possibly happen. I don't think that's the type of player DeMar. It's part of the reason DeMar DeRozan is universally respected. It's part of the reason that coaches, front offices, franchises talk about DeMar DeRozan the way that they do. But that culture aspect, like I don't think while in this fictitious scenario, DeMar might be able to destroy it by himself. I don't think he can build it by himself. And it's going to be up to him and Doug, and truthfully, Domantas Sabonis too, to kind of, pave those yellow brick roads for these guys. And I don't know. I don't think I would put that on Doug if it went sour.
There was something I saw. I'm finding right now. I'm gonna try and send it to you guys so you can actually see it. It doesn't necessarily have to go up on the stream, but I saw it yesterday and I said, why can't this type of feeling happen again? Like what would be keeping this from happening again? And what it was the Miami game at home where they came back to win. They were down 20 or something like that, came back to win in overtime. And it's like a Kings production footage of DeMar hitting that shot to kind of ice the game. And then everybody's going ecstatic. And then when the final buzzer sounds, Doug Christie meets Sabonis and Keon Ellis at half court. And remember, they have this big old embrace. They're hugging. And it was one of those things where it's like, these guys are locked in. They love and respect Doug Christie. And they're playing for this guy. And I looked at that moment and I wondered, why wouldn't that happen this year?
I'm not sure it wouldn't.
And that's the thing, because we talk about just now, like Doug not being able to galvanize these guys, not being able to get them on the same page, splintering off and all this other stuff. That's his strong suit. That's something that he was able to do the second he came in as head coach. And you got guys like Domantas Sabonis who has a great relationship with them, with the workouts, and they've been working out together for the last 3 years or something like that. I think Keon looks at him and respects him. I think DeMar looks at him and respects. Like all these guys look at Doug and they respect him. Why wouldn't they be able to recreate that type of feeling again? Things really went bad last year after the Fox trade. And then you can point to that being, dysfunction with the coaching staff, dysfunction in the front office, not having a point guard. Like I think Sabonis was hurt for, a week or two. Monk went down.
Yep.
Like you can start pointing to the downfall of that team last year to very specific things. It wasn't Doug Christie's inability to get some of these guys to play together. They even had some good wins later in the season, beating Detroit on the road, beating Cleveland on the road. There were some fundamental things, not having a point guard, not having a full coaching staff, injuries that led to them not being able to overcome those things and continue to be a winning basketball club. You start the slate clean, you start the seasons clean with guys that are playing with the coach that they look at and they respect. Why wouldn't they be able to do those things again that they had for that 15-game stretch?
I can't offer a reason as to why they couldn't. I think, and we've talked about this before. Whether you like this or not, or agree with this or not, and you're welcome to disagree with it, they got a lot of built-in excuses for what happened last year. It's part of the reason that I think they'll be more successful than some people believe. Is those built-in excuses? They're all gone. Mike, getting comfortable with DeMar and trading De'Aaron, getting LaVine going, injuries, all of the LaVine having his own issues that he has to deal with, his personal issues regarding the trade, or when the trade happened, and Doug getting acclimated as a head coach, while his staff is just like whatever. Then guys are leaving. All of that's gone. All of it is gone. So those built-in excuses, the things that probably took those happy, healthy vibes that you were just talking about a second ago and turned them into what ultimately became the end of the season. Yeah, those, you don't get those excuses anymore. If that winds up happening again, there is a far bigger issue.
Right.
And it's just hard for me to believe with this group of guys that that's there. I know where I will look first, but I just don't think that it's there.
Chris in the chatty house says, I think the worry is all the guys who have been mentioned as trade pieces or not the future all off season. We're talking about one guy. We're talking about one guy. When you talk about guys who have been mentioned in trades, that I always say this, no disrespect, that matter to the equation. We're talking about one guy. We're talking about Malik Monk. Devin Carter may not even be in the rotation. Your season doesn't hinge on Devin Carter, or it shouldn't hinge on Devin Carter being bought in or not. That's what you went out and got.
I asked you a question right before we went to commercial break. If I told you the San Francisco 49ers missed the playoffs, what happened?
My first thought is injuries. I think that's the only thing that can, I believe that's the only thing that can derail them from making the playoffs. I think they have the talent throughout that roster. We talked about it on the handoff a little bit. I think you can absolutely survive, worst case scenario, survive your wide receiver situation and the outlook on it. A lot of that has to go with what Jesse talked about, what Kyle talked about, is Brock Purdy. And I believe in Brock Purdy. I believe that he can, once again, worst case scenario, have you maintain. In a perfect world, he might have the people around you elevate. So I don't see a scenario. There's too much top end talent on this team that if they stay healthy, they're in a situation where they're not making the playoffs. That means you're below 500 pretty much. Because I even think a wild card. There might have been, I'll look, but there might have been a wild card last year that got in at 9-8. Like this team got enough talent where you can do that.
What if Brock Purdy takes no step forward and is the same quarterback he was last season?
I still think you can get to the playoffs. Brock Purdy, I don't think he was a problem last year. Not saying that's what you're saying.
No, yeah.
But
just no step forward. He's just the same quarterback now.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that was an issue from time to time with him last year was trying to do too much. He talked about it in that interview with Albert Breer, but trying to do too much. And if he can calm down on that a little bit, I think that'll his production and how he plays and the way he sees the field, I think is good enough as is if he stayed the same, if he didn't elevate to be good with a healthy group. You know what I mean? So
quick follow up: no team with a record worse than 10-7 got into the playoffs last year.
Okay. Gotcha. Last year in 15 games, Brock Purdy, 38-64 when you talk about yardage, 20 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. QBR.
That ratio has to change, right? 20-13?
Yeah, I'd probably want both to – I want the touchdowns to elevate by maybe 3 to 5, the interceptions to decrease by 3 to 5. And I think that also goes into the mentality where, like he spoke about, he felt like he had to do so much. He had to do everything. I think one of the things he said was losing in the Super Bowl, he wanted to get back. It's like, all right, let's get back. And with injuries and with things that were going on, he felt like he had to press a little bit. And he had a fine season. Like, I thought the season was a good season. There were games where he didn't play well, and he was loose with the ball, and he turned it over. And if he can eliminate those games and just be solid, I think he's fine. Like I said, outside of injury, I think the wide receiver room is okay. The running back room looks great. Offensive line is okay. QB's okay. Your defensive
the running
line
back room looks great.
Yeah, McCaffrey and Robinson.
Okay.
Running back room look great. If you get Garendo in there as your third running back, if he stays healthy, yeah, running back room is official.
Okay.
D-line will be better. Linebackers will be borderline great this year with Fred Warner. D. Winters looks great. And if you're able to get anything out of the rookie Nick Martin, we're cooking at the linebacker position. Secondaries where I got a little bit of concern. They're young in the secondary. I don't know if they have a bona fide number 2 cornerback. Renardo Green, I like him, but he's been a little shaky this training camp. So I want to see something from him. The safeties, I like what I see, but they're young, so I got to see them in a game situation. So I'm really stuck on what Kyle Shanahan said a couple weeks ago, where I think we're a good team. Essentially, he said, I think we're a good team. I think the plan is to get better as the season goes along. And if we get better with this young group as the season goes along and we're able to get into the playoffs with this group, he's basically, I'll feel good with that. I'll take my chances with that. And that's how I look at it too. They also have, I think, I'm going to say 4 or 5 of their first 9 games on the road.
Okay.
So that's always something you got to look at too. You're starting out on the road so early with a young group. I'm talking about these guys being young, the secondary being young, and trying to learn some things on the fly a little bit. That would be a little bit of a concern, like having to play so many road games with young guys who are finding their footing in the league. But yeah, to answer your original question, if they didn't make the playoffs, I figure they'd had injury issues like they did last year.
And it would have to be, at least in my estimation, when you factor in the schedule, we're talking injuries to the big dogs. We're not talking about depleted depth charts. We're talking about Brock misses a significant amount of time. Maybe Christian McCaffrey misses a significant amount of time as the same time Brock does. Fred Warner, Trent Williams, like those are the types of names we're talking about. 1, because of how talented this team is. 2, this schedule from a appointment viewing standpoint is difficult. Like, I don't know what 49ers game I'm getting up for. Like, which, like, oh, I'm really excited about. It's like, no, sorry, baby, I got to go work. I got to watch 49ers play. Like, it's not like, hey, the 49ers are playing, let's go. It's like, no, they're playing the Colts.
Yeah, don't nobody.
They're playing the team that willingly said Daniel Jones is our starting quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, there's you got Browns, and every team that has a quarterback question, every team that is preparing for Arch Manning is on the 49ers schedule.
Yeah.
Like, the 49ers will have a direct impact on who Arch Manning plays for next year. And it's, oh, man. all right, like but that's the nature of their schedule,
Mhm.
which means you can survive. Hey, Christian McCaffrey's out this game. You could survive. Hey, Brandon Allen's going to start this one because concussion protocol or Brock rolled his ankle, whatever.
Right.
You can survive one-offs, but man, when you start talking about the 49ers missing the playoffs, the 49ers finishing, we say, at 9-8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that we're talking catastrophic injuries
Right.
or near catastrophic injuries.
And that's not the most outlandish thing to think of, with some of their players being older players. Christian McCaffrey being an older guy who has an injury history. George Kittle being an older player. Williams, Trent Williams. You know what I was I was thinking left tackle, so I was like L. I was like, his name does not start with an L. Trent Williams being an older player. So that's not inconceivable to think that may be a concern or an issue. Fred Warner, he's not an older player, but he's played a lot of football. Mm-hmm. He's played through injury in the past. So that's always a concern in football in general. But with a team that has older guys like that, you worry about that for sure. Earlier, though, you said it last segment. Football starts tonight. Yes, football starts today, 2:30. Boise State and USF. I can't wait. I am hyped. You know that Ohio State Texas game. Once again, my boy Joe Klatt, and I think somebody else was saying it too. They said this may be the biggest season opening game ever.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, the defending champion, and like there is a certain, it's like Texas is kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. They haven't been good for a long time,
but they got an army,
man, and the rich history with that university, and the thought of them competing for a national championship, entering the season at number 1, the golden boy under center, like the legacy
that takes it to another
Manning quarterback under center against the reigning, defending national champions. You can't have a better start to a college football season than this.
I agree. And like I said, I think Arch takes it to another level, because Arch is, we talked about it the other day, he's literally been in our lives since he was like 13. And when we found out how good of a quarterback he was, where he was going to go became a question since he was a freshman in high school. Then he decides to go to Texas. And I think this is, I think I read this right. This is the first time Texas has ever been number 1, preseason number 1 in the AP poll, I think, or AP or coaches poll. They've never been preseason ranked number 1.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think I agree with
that seems
Joel
crazy.
And you and everybody else. Well, you think about when they've been good, and I don't know when the AP poll and all that other stuff started, but they haven't been a number 1 team in decades, like a generation. Like number 1, like this is the best team going into the season. It's been a long, long time.
Well, the AP poll started in 1936. They've never. I guess they've just never been the preseason number 1.
That's all it is.
Yeah, never been a preseason number 1.
Yeah,
which really means nothing except that your hill to climb isn't as steep, and a little tumble is no big deal.
Right. Or looked at as, oh, that's the best team.
Oh, like, no, for sure. Like, but I mean, when the season's over,
right?
The preseason, it doesn't.
No, nobody goes back to the preseason, right?
Unless you run the table. Yeah. Unless you go from preseason number 1 to national champion, then that's a story.
Right.
And that's going to hold a lot of weight now with the college football playoff being here.
I'm trying to think, has anybody in recent memory done that? Probably Alabama. I'm sure Alabama's probably done it with Saban.
I'm sure Bama probably did it in like a BCS era.
Yeah. Nobody's done it in the football in the playoff era, but Bama might have been like one of the only ones. Georgia 2 years ago.
Maybe. That's a good one.
Maybe, but it's as much as we look at like, oh, college football is the same teams all the time. running the table, like you just mentioned, seems pretty rare. Like it doesn't, at some point, like maybe you don't start at number one, or, maybe you start at 2 and you end up being number 1 3 weeks in or something like that. Going wire to wire is number 1 doesn't seem like it happens all the time.
Since the college football playoff started in 2014, one preseason number 1 has gone on to win the national championship. 2017 Alabama. 4 number 1 preseason teams have finished runner-up in the college football playoff era. Again, this is the last 11. This is not, dating back for forever. This is just in the college football
good research by you. That was quick. That was specific. Like the question was specific, and you found it in 10 seconds.
Well, I hate to say it. That AI stuff can.
Great, we lost Damien. Like, all right. Kenny, this is me and you now.
That's it. This is us being like Snake Plissken in Escape from LA.
Exactly.
You ever seen Escape from LA?
Of course not.
The one you really hadn't seen is Escape from New York. I never seen that one.
So this is an article. This is not AI. Just 2 teams that started the season number 1 in the preseason rankings in the 21st century have gone on to win the national championship. Obviously, we mentioned Alabama in 2017. Please do.
LSU?
It is not LSU. Think closer.
Florida.
And think a while ago.
It wasn't Florida?
2004.
Was that OSU?
It was USC.
Oh, wow. Closer to us.
Yeah, sorry. My bad. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. That's one of them squads right there. That's one of them. Pete had that thing popping. Wow.
Yeah. This is interesting. It has a breakdown. Like the BCS era, preseason number 1 was Nebraska. They finished 8th. The national champion wound up being Oklahoma. They started at 19th.
Jeez.
You mentioned Florida a second ago. Florida was a preseason number 1. They finished 3rd. The national champion, I'm sure everyone remembers, was Miami. They were number 2. They started the next season number 1. They finished number 2 because Ohio State they won the national title that year.
I was just about to say, how are those Miami teams not wire to wire?
Yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't start
cheated out the national championship.
I'm surprised they didn't. As good as they were, how did they not start the season at number 1 the year they won it? And then they were
so I don't know if I said this. They were 2.
Yeah,
it was Florida, Miami. Yep.
Yeah, and then the next year, like you said,
they started number 1.
The game was over. Like they were at the parade in Coral Gables, and they said, no, actually, there's a flag. Bring them back. What?
Couldn't get it out of his pocket, and it's not my fault.
That reminds me, unfortunately, Jesse.
This is far more interesting than I like. Number 1 finishing number 3. This is really interesting. I'll send it to you because we could do the whole show on this. This is fascinating. Like it's not that college football rankings, preseason rankings don't mean anything. They absolutely do, but it's interesting to see how they shake out and like what the number, what the team that winds up winning the national championship where they were ranked.
Yeah, and it's much like I would say probably like the would you say it's like the NFL and like we go in, I say this all the time, that Thursday game, the defending champion plays and whoever they play, and everybody's looks like Team X is on their way to a repeat. Who's going to stop them? And they almost never repeat.
Yeah.
They almost never repeat. Yeah. And that's kind of like how Texas, number 1 team in the nation. I don't know who's going to beat them. And every year it seems like that team doesn't win the national championship.
Yeah. And you're right. The difference is, at least in this regard, like is schedule and the way things are scheduled. There's probably, I don't have Texas's schedule in front of me. I can pull up. There's probably only 3 games you realistically think they're going to lose. One of them is Saturday.
Right.
Like when you, I mean, now it doesn't mean
Still
you can't have
underdogs.
Appalachian State. Doesn't mean that you can't have Appalachian State. Doesn't mean that you can't have a.
Why'd you bring that one?
Well, it just doesn't mean because it was a great day.
No, it was.
It doesn't mean that you can't have, a moment in a
Right.
college football season. It just means you're probably, if you're a preseason number 1, 2, you're probably not going to lose too many.
Mhm.
And in college football, it's weird. Like, who did you lose to? Who did they lose to? And I think this is starting to change a little bit. When in the season did you lose to them?
Mhm.
Because that was always a really big,
Right.
that was always a really big
You
thing.
lose
Now,
early, you got time.
right. You lose late. Now that computers aren't involved and it's a committee, I think they're exercising a little bit more. All right, let's talk through this. Are they really not one of the best teams in the country? Are they really not now deserving of one of these playoff spots? How does this all work out? That's kind of started to change a little bit.
They're at a sweet spot right now, I think, with the playoffs. There is talks of, it sounds stupid when you hear it, but there's talks of going to like 28. And 28 sounds dumb, but when somebody broke it down, and it's essentially like an extra week of what they really are doing is they're creating play-in games, and they're, instead of calling them playing games, they're just playoff games.
Yeah.
I think they're at a sweet spot, but they've talked about like 24 or 28 or something like that. It's like, all right,
Not a fan.
whatever.
Not a fan. I told you this was a rabbit hole that I'm sinking into. Can I read this off to you real quick?
Yeah.
Preseason,
The start of college football tonight. Absolutely.
Preseason number 1 since 2016. Follow me here. Bama, 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 Clemson, Bama, Bama, Georgia.
Jesus.
Now, Texas.
Jeez.
Yeah, man.
And those guys, Clemson and Bama, didn't they play what, like 3 or 4 straight years in the national championship game?
Yeah, it was driving people crazy.
Yeah.
In the year, Bama, the preseason number 1, finished number 2, finished number 1, went wire to wire that we just talked about. Bama in 2018, finished number 2. Clemson finished number 2. They lost to LSU that year. Clemson the next year, they finished number 3. Who did they lose to? Alabama. Alabama preseason number 1. They finished number 2. Who'd they lose to? Georgia. Bama preseason number 1. They finished number 5. Who won the national title? Georgia. We'll skip 2000.
No, I'm about to say, who won the
Georgia number 1 national champion, Ohio State. Of course, you start getting the playoff games in there, and it starts to look a little different.
Yeah.
Michigan, I forget, Michigan was preseason number 2 the year that they won.
Really?
Yeah, they were preseason number 2 that year. They won their fraudulent title.
It was a real one.
Well, it was a real title. They just stole it.
They didn't steal anything. They beat the hell out of TCU, I think it was. No, who they beat the hell out of? All I remember is the Alabama win. That's
celebrating a TCU victory.
Did we beat the hell out of? Yeah, I think we did beat the hell out of.
You don't even remember because no one cares.
Who did they beat? I don't remember. I think it was TCU. No, because they had lost to TCU the year before. You don't even
remember. Yeah, this is what a sham.
Washington, that's who they beat. Thank you, Zabo. I knew it was a purple team. I couldn't remember who it was. Penix and Washington. Yeah, to beat the hell out of them.
All-time appearances in AP top 25 preseason rankings. Ohio State 72.
I'm about to say they've got to be at the top.
Oklahoma 67, USC 63, so on and so on and so on. Texas at number 6 with 58, Michigan at 54.
You know what that tells me though? They need to get football going on the West Coast again. I think that's why now I respect what SC was able to do, because you read that off. That was about 10 years that you just read off. The South dominates.
Yep.
And these boys out here on the West Coast were beating them all.
Yeah.
They were beating them all. And they need that again. I know Washington went a couple years ago. Arizona State had a great year last year, and they're poised for another good season. But yeah, they got to get that. What's his name better get? Lincoln Riley better get it together, or he need to go. You're in Los Angeles. It's USC. You can't figure this out this year, or you're gone, buddy.
Yeah, you're right, man. Look at when you open that article. I said the The South got something to say. As Andre 3000 once told us, the South got something to say.
And and your boy, they said your boy might be back. I hate this.
Ooh.
Your boy Dabo. I got people. My boy Joe Clapp predicted. I think he predicted him to win the whole thing. But I've heard other people like, nah, Clemson might be back. They got forgot my man's last name. It's like,
so he's adapting, huh?
I guess
he's decided he was going to adapt to this new world that he was so against a couple years ago.
I guess.
And when he was getting his ass beat in the NIL world, like, nah, it's not so bad now, is it? Dabo. Speaking of NIL, talk of the town, Arch Manning. Projected earnings $6.8 million for 2025. The most valuable college athlete in the country.
Oof.
Second highest earner,
Jeremiah Smith.
Carson Beck, quarterback at Miami.
Yeah.
$2.5 million. That is a kick in the groin from Carson Beck.
Damn.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. But Arch, I actually thought Arch was closer to 10. I mean, not. I thought he was closer to the 10 million marker than 6.8.
You think? Are you able to pull up how much he's made? Because he might be at about.
I can try
a total of 15, maybe. I don't know. Because if it's 6 this year, it's probably gone up a little bit because he's about to be the starter. But he was getting it in financially before he was even a starter. To get him on campus, I'm sure he had a nice little bank account.
Can't find total earnings. It's going to take me a little bit.
Oh, great. The NFL's taking a break, and now look who's in the chat. What the hell? Talk about college football. Now they get in here.
Those spam bots are crazy.
At least they're listening.
Hey, salute. You have to. They're subscribing. You've got to subscribe to be able to comment. Shout out to them. There's this article, Arch Manning's surprising NIL strategy despite $6.8 million in valuation. I can't find his total net worth, but I'm going to just guess this article is about how him and his family are really picky about the deals that he signed. He has deals with Red Bull and Uber, just to name a couple. I cannot find his total earnings. I'll keep looking at that throughout the day. That'd be interesting to know.
That boy Sark, you got them boys driving Lambos. That's crazy. I remember I seen the video where he had them all lined up in the parking lot of the school offices, like 10 of them. That Texas money different, man. that Texas money is different.
Yeah, not the same. That's one of the most amazing facilities I ever got to see in person.
Oh, you were at the
someone took me through a tour around Texas and university and took me into the football building. And it's really jarring when you walk in because it looks like the house that Ricky Williams built. Like Ricky Williams, I think, is it Earl Campbell? Like it's with all due respect to the legend, there's a lot more Ricky Williams than there is Earl Campbell. And of all of the names that have gone there, those are the names that you see the most. Those are the trophies. Schools get replicas, of trophies. The Tennessee Lady Vols office had, every, Wade player, all of that stuff they get a trophy to display in their university. And man, it was, what's this? Oh, that's Ricky Williams, such and such trophy. Oh, that's Ricky Williams when he broke this. That's Ricky Williams this. There's Earl Campbell. This is Ricky Williams trophy from when he did this. And just one of the most amazing facilities I ever saw. And they had just built that giant, because Jerry World, AT&T had just gone up. So the screens were the thing.
Yeah.
Texas.
They're new.
That
thing looks crazy.
Yeah. So the one, and I don't know, they might have even changed it since then because this was 2009, 10.
Oh yeah, I think they got a new one.
The one that they
That
put
one-
up, they
the
had
one that
just
was
put
crazy.
the new one up,
Yeah.
and it was the biggest in college football. That was the thing. This is next to AT. It wasn't. I don't know if it was AT&T at the time. I remember, but next to what Jerry did, this is the second biggest in the world.
I remember that,
and it was
one.
outside.
Yeah, I remember that one. The one you're talking about when they said that, and that they got a new one.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
because that one, the one you're talking about, I was like, yo, these boys ain't playing in college, and it just dawned on me. I was like, I think they replaced it like a year ago.
Stepping into a stadium, and this is where I wish like college football fans here in this region got the opportunity to experience it. And this is no shade at our brothers at Sac State or anything like that, but when you walk into a college football stadium like that, like especially like I don't think I ever actually did it at Neyland Stadium, but in Texas, it's breathtaking. Like you walk in, it's empty, and you look around and you realize you're where the University of Texas plays football.
Yeah.
It's breathtaking. It's amazing.
Those college stadiums, it's like a lot of hallowed ground because they haven't changed their stadium or they haven't moved. You know what I mean? Or built it. It's like, yo, this is. You get in. I can only imagine. I've been to the Coliseum. That's the only big time stadium I've been to. But I go in there. You go to Texas. You be like, you look around. I can only imagine what this looked like when Ricky was doing his thing. When Reggie was running. Like, it's crazy to think of some of these stadiums because they're 100-year-old stadiums. Like they've seen everything. So yeah, man. I love college football. I love the pageantry of it all, man. Every year around the beginning of August, and I'll get the body clock starts going. It's like, all right, let me see what's.
Oh my God!
Uh-oh.
Did it as rookie season?
No. The Cowboys are trading Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers.
Hey!
Oh my God!
I should have.
Wow!
I should have brought it up. I should have brought it up when I saw it, I guess.
Oh
my God!
Oh snap!
The Cowboys are trading Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. Micah and the Packers have already reached an agreement on a 4-year, $188 million.
Oh my!
$120 million fully guaranteed. Micah Parsons is the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. He'll receive $62 million in the first year, 120. This is where stuff gets weird. 120 million fully guaranteed, 136 million guaranteed, all records for non-quarterbacks. Do not rewind this show to the beginning.
This won't be on the best.
Micah. That's funny. Schefter wrote, this is what he wrote.
Wow.
Cowboys are trading 3-time All-Pro Micah Packers to the Green Bay Packers. My man was flustered.
Yeah.
He got that Luka Doncic tweet. And see, this is the difference between Shams and Schefter. Shams got the tweet. Cool hand Luke got it out there to the world. Schefter got it and panicked. Micah Parsons is headed to the Green Bay Packers.
Micah's already got the thank you Dallas video montage up and tweeted out.
What a legend.
It's already there. Go Pack Go is what he says.
Episode 9 of that Cowboys Live is going to be sick.
Wow. Micah Parsons headed to the Green Bay Packers. For what? Don't know.
Okay. Can we have
Don't know.
Turns out that little tweet a couple days ago was something, huh?
Micah Packers is killing me right now. I'm going to go follow, what was his name? Ricky Scoops?
Ricky
What was
Scoops.
his name?
Follow the doggy.
Hey,
Follow the doggy.
Hey, Ricky Scoops. Salute my brother.
Can we have a discussion real quick?
I'm about to fire off a hot take. Go ahead.
I think my take might be hotter.
Okay, go ahead.
This was the right move by the Cowboys.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess
Jesse?
I'll go the other way. Yeah, I think this was the perfect move by the Packers.
Two things can be equally true here. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm not. We talked earlier about having a realistic conversation about where your franchise is at.
Mm-hmm.
I might not even make the playoffs.
Yep.
What am I paying Dak, CD, and Micah Parsons all this money for?
So
we had him at single-digit wins right before they made the trade.
Yeah.
I don't think Kenny's wrong. Jesse's definitely not wrong.
That's the move.
I'm thinking Super Bowls.
Like, yeah, like
that's
the
a game
conversation around the Packers. So
that's a game changer.
So, spoiler alert, one of the things that we were laying out to talk about was, and like true NFC contenders to the Philadelphia Eagles, we have one now.
Mm-hmm.
We absolutely have one now in the Green Bay Packers.
Yep.
I don't think your assessment is wrong, though, about the Dallas Cowboys. Here's the problem. Did you know last year that you were willing to do this? Because if so, paying CeeDee Lamb was the wrong move. If it boiled down to if this boils down to dollars and cents, because we've asked the question since this, we literally asked this the second Dak signed that contract.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to pay Dak, who's whether he is a number one quarterback or not, or whether he's a top 5 quarterback, he's the number one paid quarterback.
Right.
How are you going to pay CD at the top of that wide receiver group? How are you going to pay Micah Parsons at the top of that defensive end group? And now we have done gymnastics to try to figure out how Jerry is going to do this. And now we've learned he's just not.
Right.
But should you have made that decision last year when it was CeeDee Lamb's contract and not waited for this year when it was Micah Parsons?
It feels like,
Micah's a better football player than CeeDee Lamb is.
So at that time, you were probably looking at it like, we can still do this, guys.
And
we can still be a good team.
And we have a $60 million quarterback.
Right.
We have to have something here for him.
Right. So, yeah, that is a shocker.
In 1994, Jerry Jones traded Thomas Everett immediately after a Pro Bowl season. That is the only Pro Bowler Jerry has ever traded immediately following a Pro Bowl season prior to right now.
Wow. That
I don't know why Micah wrote this
shocker.
I don't know why Micah wrote this big long ass letter. You already wrote one.
He wrote a letter, and this is second letter after already saying thank you, Dallas, and he has the video ready.
Hey, Schefter has to own Micah Packers forever.
Drew Down brings up a good point too. Dak Prescott is the one who's not worth the money in Dallas.
Well, I mean, Drew Down's not wrong, but what do you do?
Well, it's like you said.
But what do you do? Do you just not have a quarterback?
Yeah, I think you trade him and you look to draft a quarterback. I don't know if that's going to happen during the season.
I would have looked at that. Yeah, like probably like as you were like once you got to 60 million, it's like,
Right.
yeah, this is a little ridiculous.
Well, 60 million. How did you get there? Through the history of quarterback contract growth, it is $2.5 to $5 million in growth every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the who's next. Dak is like the only one who jumped like 10 million.
Yeah.
And threw the whole market off to where no one's touched that yet.
No.
No one's getting paid $60 million.
Everybody's like, bro, this isn't this isn't real. Let's not do this. Let's not do this.
Oh man, someone tweeted out a picture of Luka and Micah next to each other.
Oh,
it was Eagles Nation. That's well done. That's well done by the Eagles fan base. That's hilarious. Oh man.
Do we even know what Dallas got?
I'm searching a couple of different people trying to find it, and I don't see any parameters for a trade. Again, I'm sure it's a ton of draft picks. Boy, Schefter wasn't playing this morning. Like Schefter got the word, hey, we're trading Micah today.
Yeah. Like this is on the doorstep.
Get this out there. We're trading Micah today. Either that or this escalated quickly. And again, shout out to Ricky Scoops, legend.
This guy, he was on it.
Micah Parsons is one of only 3 players to record 12-plus sacks in at least 4 of the last 5 seasons. He's 26 years old. Oh, my God, man. When you talk about average annual value for non-quarterbacks, I knew we had the number this year. Micah cleared it by $6 million. Micah Parsons, $47 million. TJ at $41, which was about $500,000 more than Myles Garrett. It's 3/4 of a million more than Jamar Chase. Danielle Hunter makes $35.6 million, and Micah got 47 for a team that does everyone think right now can win the Super Bowl.
Packers
compete for the Super Bowl.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Wow. Now all Jordan Love has to do is not mess things up.
Okay, well, what does that mean?
That's
TC.
Oh, speaking. Oh,
he's on the line still.
No, he's gone.
He
He's
left.
gone. That's my bad, TC. That's my bad. Boy, I wish there was a way I could just search Dallas Cowboy fan base Twitter.
Go to the list. I got him on one of my lists, which is called the Enemy.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
The Enemy is the Seahawks, the Cowboys, the Lakers. A lot of people from them, but just Cowboys Twitter right here. Let's see what they talk about. Okay, I'm not going to read that one.
Okay.
I'm not going to read that one.
We gotta this is okay. The NFL Network this is why you can't air the college Little League World Series or whatever the hell is on. Now we got some canned.
To be fair, this is on ESPN News.
This is because it's canned. But I can't go to the other ESPN because I think the US Open is on.
Did you see that stuff last night?
No, the melt. Oh yeah.
She didn't get slapped.
Yeah,
I would have slapped her.
Yeah. They can't possibly be showing the Texans.
They're talking
Vikings
about
game.
it right now.
Okay. Ooh. Of course, you have to be a genius to figure out how to work the remote control in this studio. There we go. All right.
Ian Rappaport. Wow. And they did it. They traded him in the conference.
Stanley.
Stanley, where are you, bro? They couldn't trade him to the Raiders.
Jerry's never seen that Super Bowl, I'll tell you that much.
We have never talked this much about the Dallas Cowboys, but this conversation is going nowhere because I've got more questions. Brennan Marion is really unfortunate. Brennan Marion is going to join us next. He's going to be peppered with Cowboy questions. He's going to be peppered with Green Bay Packers questions. What a trade. Micah Parsons headed to the Green Bay Packers, already agreed to a 4-year, $188 million contract, $136 million guaranteed. We have got you covered. A massive story 7 days before the Eagles and Cowboys kick off the new NFL season. Go Sacramento to bye Micah Parsons.
Bye Micah Parsons. That's crazy. They made that move.
Shout out to the NFL. Packers go to Dallas week 4 Sunday night.
Come on, man. Hey, shout out to the Drew Downs. Shout out to Donnie. Donnie came in while we were talking to Coach. Donnie said, I only came in here to say Jerry Jones is an idiot. And why did I sign up to be a Cowboys fan and a Kings fan in this life?
Poor Donnie. Donnie is a Cowboys fan. He's a Kings fan. He's from Fresno, so he likes Fresno State. They just got slapped up by Kansas last week. They're probably going to lose again this week. They're actually underdogs at home against Georgia Southern. Donnie is done with sports.
I understand.
Donnie a Braves fan too. They're having a terrible season. Oh man,
it's hilarious.
Wow.
There's some dude out there with a Michael Parsons and Luka Doncic jersey in his closet. Sucks to suck, pal.
Oh man.
Let me ask you guys a question right now. I think I know the answer, but I'm gonna just ask the question because this is radio. What's the bigger loss for a Dallas fan?
Luke.
For a Dallas fan. Because the Cowboys are a little different.
They're different. It's Micah.
I think Yeah, I think it's Luka.
I think the loss to the franchise is bigger, like Luka, but like a fan, I like the like you said. I feel like the Cowboys are different than the Mavericks. But Micah's like not the quarterback. I think it's Micah.
I say Luka because no disrespect at all, but I think Luka is better at what he does than Micah is. Luka is looked at.
You're probably right.
He's looked at as all things go right, he might be a top 10 player to ever play the game. Micah will be a Hall of Famer, but I don't know if he's going to reach LT status, Reggie White status. But he might be close.
Oh, they already got the Reggie White Photoshops out there.
He might be close, though. Micah bad. Micah is a bad boy.
Micah Parsons, his first 4 seasons, 13 sacks, 13 and a half sacks, 14 sacks, 12 sacks. Now a Green Bay Packer.
12 sacks. He didn't. That's last year, right?
Yeah, played 13 games. Played 13 games. 13 games.
He was hurt last year.
Been top 3 defensive player of the year voting every year, but last year where he was hurt.
Coach was telling us the story. Michael was a running back. In high school.
Yeah, good luck trying to tackle that guy.
Coach said, "Yeah, get this game off my schedule." I'm doing this.
Yeah, Coach,
get this game off my schedule. I'm not playing that person.
I think it's really hit that the Cowboys really traded Micah Parsons. Like Micah Parsons is a top 5 player, I think, arguably in the league right now.
Absolutely,
bro. This is Khalil Mack all over again,
but younger. Maybe a little bit bigger.
This is bigger, I think.
One, it's the Cowboys. It's bigger than the Raiders. Yeah,
Khalil Mack was the best defensive player in the game when he got traded.
So. Yeah, you're right.
He was number 1.
So. Yeah.
There wasn't no maybe Myles Garrett, maybe TJ. It was Khalil's the best.
It felt like it,
and they moved on from him.
Yeah.
It's I would love. I wanted. Jesse said earlier. I want the extended episode of the documentary. Because how do we get to this?
You haven't got there. You'll never get there because I think it's the final episode.
Micah's the last episode.
But no. The last episode that's actually there is when they're getting their ass whooped by everybody for the last 20 years, and it culminates. It culminates with the Packers.
Yeah,
and who's he's hugging in the locker room?
Micah?
He's hugging Micah Parsons in the locker room. Talking about I love you and it's not your fault and all of this. And Micah talking about I just want to win.
Wow.
That's the last game that they cover.
Kenny brought it up. I do wonder if Jerry Jones was watching the doc, just pumped up. Yeah, I'm Jerry Jones. Micah, watch what I do right now.
I did this with Herschel Walker. And you saw what it
resulted in.
Well,
you didn't get a Herschel Walker return, but you did get 2 first-round picks.
It doesn't matter. Okay. I'm Jerry Jones. Did you see how they reacted when I traded Herschel Walker? Did you see how they reacted when I fired Tom Landry's ass?
For the next 30 years, Brian Schottenheimer is going to say it was his idea. It was his idea to trade Micah Parsons.
I did it once, and dadgummit, I'll do it again.
Jerry Jones going to cut Kenny Clark and be confused why he doesn't get a first-round pick.
But I really want to know, did you guys call around the league? Did you look? If I'm a Cowboys
good question,
fan,
yeah.
If I'm Donnie,
question. Yep.
It had to be the Packers.
Did you DeMarcus Cousins this joint and Kenny Clark was your buddy healed?
They got to. I don't know how much more you get from Micah.
I don't know.
I think you could get. I think you get equal to that.
Kenny Clark's made a couple of Pro Bowls last season. He kind of
equal to what?
Equal to what the Packers gave you. You could get equal to that from the Ravens, the Steelers, the Dolphins. Like you could have got equal somewhere outside of Green Bay.
Did the 49ers at least call and offer Nick Bosa?
I hope so.
Like, look. Because I'd start straight up Bosa for Micah. No, fine, first round pick. Then I'll start with third. Like, we'll say something.
Just keep going.
Get this 5. I'll give you the Desmond Bain deal, the Kevin Durant Brooklyn deal. What would it take?
Yeah, at the very least, I like to know: did you take calls? or did you just talk to the Packers? Because that is, I think when you go down the list, I'm not a Cowboy fan. Donnie, anybody, Drew Down, you could tell me. When you go down the list, it's the NFC East, it's the Niners, and then it's the Packers when you talk about rivals. So it's not like your 1A rival. But you guys got history. You don't like each other. They're in your conference. You may have given them an opportunity to be a Super Bowl team. Did you take calls from anybody else? Please tell me you took calls from other people and they were only giving you 1 third-rounder. Please tell me that's what happened.
Well, you'd probably have to look at like the contenders too, because I'd assume a team with a high first-round pick probably wouldn't give that up for Michael Parsons, given you're not in the right just state organizationally to win now. So it's like for the teams that are good, and I guess could trade for him.
Let me see. Let me find a team. Did the Jets call you?
Jets gonna need that pick.
Did the Texans call you?
I admire the fact that Schefter, and I assume it's Todd Archer. Let me. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not Schefter at all. It's Todd Archer's article. I admire the fact that they threw in this line. Jones could hope the trade of Parsons has a similar effect as the 1989 trade of running back Herschel Walker.
Well, they talked to Jerry. I told you, Jerry watched that documentary.
Yeah,
I'll do it again.
Casey's right. He watched the doc, bro. He watched the doc and got pumped up. Like he hyped himself up. He's like, I'm gonna trade Michael Parsons.
He said, I'll do it again.
Do you think Jerry, in a fit of anger, just said, F it, trade him?
Yeah.
Because remember a week ago, he was like, I've got 3 years to figure this out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a Packers rumor starts last night that Jesse doesn't bring to the show.
My fault.
from Ricky Scoops.
My fault. I didn't bring the dog's tweet to the show.
Ricky Scoops.
Is that his? I keep saying that. It's Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky Scoops.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's an actual dog.
And again, Florio was like, no, this dude's real. Like, he's tapped in.
Got like 50,000 followers.
Yeah, no, he's real.
Ricky Scoops.
It's crazy. But it goes from we have 3 years to figure this out to a Packer rumor coming out to Schefter tweeting the Cowboys are at least listening. He didn't say, again, if you go back and you read Schefter's tweets this morning, he's not saying, hey, we're open for business. He said they're at least listening,
right?
And that they want to get this situation resolved to where hours later, Michael Parsons is a Green Bay Packer. It feels like Jerry turned the table over and said, get his ass out of here.
Like this morning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in an hour, he's going to regret it.
This is the Coach Brennan Marion Show, brought to you by J Resort, the newest casino and resort in Reno. J Resort has special discounts available for Sacramento State football fans. Just go to jresortreno.com and use promo code SAC0906. Now, here's Coach Marion with D-Lo and KC.
Coach, what's happening, man? How you feeling?
Feeling awesome. I like that. I like that intro. That beat was kind of.
Yeah, we got you, Coach.
It was hitting a little bit. Yeah.
That's what we do. Excited for this season to get underway for you, man. Coach, it feels like we've been talking to you for a long time. This has got to be the biggest off season in Sac State University history. Is that a different type of pressure headed into start to a season when you have an off season like you had?
No, me and KC talked about it last night. I think in the off season we just did our job, better than anybody in the country. When you say, can you be the absolute best? Can you be number one? We were number one in recruiting. That's just our job in the offseason, is to recruit and try to bring in the best crop of kids that we can as coaches. And I think our coaching staff did a really good job of, going out and acquiring talent and bringing players here, obviously bringing 70 players here to Sacramento State. So I think really, all the hype came from the results. It was really the results and the buzz that came from, okay, these guys really went out and recruited at a high level. And, that's just our job when it's the offseason. That's what we're supposed to do.
Having so much turnover in the roster and so many new players, like it wasn't just guys that you had coached at UNLV, but it was just a collection of different players from around the country. The old adage is that's going to take time for players to gel. It's going to take time for chemistry and everything like that. But every time I watch one of the episodes of Go Football when I go to the practice or something like that. Seems like these guys are already kind of locked in. Do you have that type of feeling with this group as well, where they've been able to gel relatively quickly, considering there's so many new faces and moving parts?
Yeah, I told our players and I told our staff, you got to go from strangers to friends, friends to cousins, cousins to brothers. And, I think that's where we're at right now. We're at that stage of where guys really feel like when they look to the left and the right, like, man, I'd be willing to die for this dude and put it on the line for him. And, I'm excited for our guys to get the opportunity to show how close we are as a team and how we play together and how we've gelled throughout this offseason. And like you said, I mean, we got kids from the deep South. We got kids from Hawaii, California, Texas, everywhere. And these kids have, done a really good job of gelling together and, embracing their differences and learning from each other. It's actually been really cool to see guys learn different things, an East Coast guy versus a West Coast guy, a South guy versus, so, to me, that's America, a blended group of people, searching, to try to, win and or accomplish a dream. And so I'm excited for our team and really blessed on how fast they came together.
Coach KC mentioned Go Football. You got the chain on that says Go Sacramento has kind of been the moniker. Can you define that? Can you define what Go means for Sac State football this season?
Yeah, Go really started off as a high school coach, and then, a lot like, everybody says, like, how do you win so fast or what do you do and all that, that type of stuff that people might put out there. But really the Go name came from, being at Howard, having the biggest upset in college football history at UNLV. And then everybody, when I walked around everywhere, you're like the Go guy, like the Go offense and that type of thing. And so instead of, for years, I kind of like tried to push that away, shot that to the side, like, I don't want to be known as that. And then, I said, you know what, I'm going to just embrace that. That's what everybody calls me. That's what I'm known for, the offense. And so we'll be embraced that. But what it means here at Sac State is, it's awesome now because I've always, I grew up playing defense and being on the defensive side of the ball. And when I was a high school head coach, our defense was a very violent, fierce defense. So I'm excited to, now be able to have an impact on the defensive side of the ball and in special teams. And if you looked at my track record as a offensive coordinator, I was always celebrating with the defensive guys when they got interceptions and sacks and big plays. And I'm excited for what Coach Patton has brought to our defense and our defensive coaches. And, we're just Go Sacramento, period. We're about whatever we need to do, offense, defense, special teams, to be 1 point better than the other team at the end of the game.
Coach, I'm a flashy guy. I love Deion Sanders when I was growing up. I didn't play football, but if I played football, I probably would have been a DB, and I would have had all the gear and all this other stuff. But as I learned about the game more and more, I understand that the game is won in them trenches with them big dogs down there. And when looking at your roster, when looking at you guys in practice, those big guys on both the offensive line and defensive line, they look like they're ready to go, and they look like they can get nasty. How are you feeling about the trenches, the offensive line, the defensive line, and everything that you've been able to cook up with this roster during summer and fall camp?
Yeah, I mean, we're old school country, down south type of team when it comes to our trenches as far as the violence. In our trenches, I think the first thing we did is we had to bring in violent people and guys that, liked confrontational football, in the trenches. We got a lot of down south D linemen that, really love D-line play and, old school with it. And then, our O-line was like, man, I really got to bring it every day going against these guys, because not only is our 1 D-line good, our 2 D-line good, our 3rd D-line is good, our 4th D-line, got some heat to it. So really that was the most important thing for me. Like we've been able to manufacture points with all types of different skill guys and different skill sets. Not all of them were first round picks. Some of them were JUCO guys with no offers. And, so I know that we could schematically scheme things up, but you can't scheme up the physicality of what happens in the trenches. You have to have that type of physicality up front if you want to be a team that holds up trophies, a team that wins conference championships. And so that was our goal this offseason, to bring in the type of guys that we did in the trenches.
And it looks like all of those recruits, I think Casey mentioned, was 70 plus transfers that came in. We joked, you just wiped out the whole football team and was like, nah, we're going to start this over. Shout out to the 6 guys that made it. But it was pretty split between the offensive and defensive end. And to hear you talk about the trenches and all of that, it's interesting because you're the ones that were, you talk about flashy, the ones that got everybody's attention, got us talking, got the national media talking, was Jaden Rashada, the quarterback. You got the running back and Jamar Curtis. So to hear you talk about the trenches and the ugly stuff in football is pretty dope, considering the 2 biggest recruits that got the most attention were the flashy guys on the offensive end.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way football is. Everybody loves the quarterback, but somebody has to protect the quarterback. And then obviously if you can affect the quarterback, then it's hard for them to win. When I game plan as a coach, all I look at is, can we block the guys up front, right? If we can block the guys up front, then we can run all the plays that we have. We can run all the cool plays. We can do kind of whatever we want. But if we can't block the guys up front, then it's like it gets really hard on trying to be creative and trying to find ways to make plays work when you know that it's probably if you can't control the first level, you can't get much done. And so that's where, to me, I learned at the stops that I've been at, the teams that we were really good and the teams that, the championship teams I've been a part of, we were really good in the trenches. Skill guys, it's a revolving door, as far as skill guys and who's going to show up and who's going to be consistent. But that O-line and D-line is what you need to move an offense or a defense forward.
And Coach, you talk about that D-line and you're like, our first unit is good, our second unit is good, third unit, fourth. You know where else I feel like I see that on that roster is that running back room. My goodness. If you got the quote unquote starter, but you might have a situation where 4 of those guys end up getting carries in the game. 5 of those guys end up getting carries, and there's no breaks. Like they all can take it to the house, or they all are physical with the way they run the football. Is that what you envision for the ground game in that offense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think our offensive scheme makes running backs excited because we're a 2-back, 21, 20 personnel type of team where we use a lot of multiple running backs, and we've had a lot of success in doing that. It's definitely different for running backs, as most guys come from a system where it's one guy in the game, he dominates the ball, and it's a lot like Little League, I tell them. But we prepare guys for, blocking, catching, running. They can do everything in our offense. They can line up at receiver, tight end, in the backfield, fullbacks. We use fullbacks. So I'm excited for our guys to show the versatility that they have, maybe that they weren't able to show at their previous school or, where they came from, because it was just a one back, just run downhill. Our guys are going to do a lot of different things for us, in the passing game, blocking for the guy, doing all types of stuff. So I'm excited for our running back room. Coach AC has done a really good job with those guys from the standpoint of, he's been in the NFL locker room. He knows what it looks like to be around top tier quality running backs. And he's been able to give those guys a good, dose of confidence to know that you guys could be Sunday guys. And so excited for our running back room for sure.
I feel like a good running back opens up so much for a team's offense, in the sense of, we were talking about this the other day, like a good running back can be like an offensive lineman for a quarterback. The threat of a run can protect your quarterback. How much does having a guy like Jamar Curtis change, what you can do offensively with these guys? Or I don't want to just center in on Jamar, that whole running back room that you just talked about right there.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys are like high caliber players. Obviously Jamar being one of the top running backs coming back in FCS is going to be the headliner and an All-American. He can take it to the house at any point, from receiver or running back or kick return or punt return. Then you have Savion Red, who played Wildcat quarterback at Texas, ran the ball, played receiver, started games at receiver as a freshman, went to Reno and was a really good running back for them there last year. And then you have Rodney Hammond, who won a championship at Pitt. He's protected Kenny Pickett in the pocket as a freshman, ran the ball against Clemson in big games, and, scored touchdowns in conference championship games and been in big bowl games. So, and then we got some young heat. We got Jaquil out of Florida. I mean, that dude is, every time he gets the ball, everybody is like, ooh and ah. You know, he gets you out of your seat. He can make the big runs. We got Damian from Colorado State that came to us. I mean, he's another guy that can get up, and if he gets a crease, it's going to be a touchdown. He can really run. And then we have, you know, the old veteran in the room. We call him Uncle Sam out there, Sam Adams, who was at Washington when they won, you know, those championships, and we're rolling, protecting Michael Penix back there. So we have a good, really, really good, solid room of guys that understand that they're there to help the quarterback in protection. They're also there to help the receivers. I always say a great running back helps the receivers. Now we're in one-on-one matchups, because if they don't put an extra safety in the box, then we're going to be able to run the ball for a lot of yards. So we're excited for those guys, and I know the O-line is ready to block for those guys and open up holes. They get excited to just, you know, see, you know, these guys are must-see TV. So we're excited for that running back room for sure.
100%, man. Coach Marion, head coach of Sac State football, and during the break when we were just talking,
Coach did not trade Micah Parsons.
He did not.
That was not Coach Marion that traded Micah Parsons
said,
to
no,
the
that's
Packers. We'll get back to that.
I'm about to call Jerry Jones' grandson Paxton, and I coached at Texas, and be like, bro, what y'all doing, man?
That was wild.
Yeah.
But Damian was talking during the break. He's like, man, coach with a style, he gonna have everybody around here looking like cowboys, because Coach has a hat, you know, he got the jeans, he got the boots. A Cowboy Company, is that your company, or are you just kind of affiliated with them?
Yeah, I've just been affiliated with them. I like to do designs and all that type of deal. I think, you know, obviously A Cowboy now has a couple guys on the rodeo circuit and girls. And so I think that company will continue to blow up. But I really have loved, like, you know, I've always had an affinity for the country. You know, I grew up with a unique experience in the summer times. I would go to Virginia and I'd have to get water from the well, go to bathroom in the outhouse, catch fish to eat. You know,
that's too goddamn country, Coach. That's a little extra.
So people, you know, like, oh, he's a city guy. Like, yeah, during the school year, I was in the city with my mom in Pittsburgh, but in the summertime, I would go to Virginia and the country. And I've always, you know, I never was into cowboy hats until I got to, you know, Texas, but I was always into cowboy boots and gator boots. I always thought that, you know, the whole Carhartt shirts and Timberlands and, you know, like just the country swag was kind of my deal. So, you know, I think that company is going to get rolling here shortly.
No doubt.
Shabuzi live at Sac State at some point this season.
That ticket's too high for Shabuzi. I don't know.
Yeah, that's facts.
Man, his NIL is too high. I don't know. We can recruit him.
Yeah, yesterday's price is not today's price for my man.
No.
I don't even know if UT could get Shabuzi.
Yeah,
right
I don't know. I don't know. That man was out there with Beyonce. Like you can't get Shabuzi.
Yeah, that ticket's different.
Hey, Coach, man, good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
We're excited. We're excited for you. We're excited for, I mean, we just got an alert from our man Chris Biederman, Luke Wood out at Cal Expo right now, trying to get the stadium on lock, trying to get that whole revamp thing going on right now. So we're excited for what's ahead. We're already making our plans. We're going to be at this one. We're going to be at this one. Yeah, you're going to see us outside this year, Coach.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Love to have y'all. My soul. Appreciate y'all.
Yes,
my
sir.
Man,
we
man.
appreciate
Business,
you.
big
All
dog.
right. Fingers up.